had a customer call me up, had a Fox Body Mustang that he just picked up. It's a pretty rare one. I have never heard of them. Don't know that I've ever seen one. And apparently there's only roughly 27 of them made. He called me up, said he wanted to get it running. It had been sitting for a long time, been neglected, and he wants to try to save it. The story that I got, it's only 7 that were built with a turbo 4-cylinder. Then after that, they went to a V8 car. Supposedly, there's 20 or less that were ever ordered in the V8 model. So it is a dealer ordered through Mclaren. So it's a Mclaren DSO. This one here is a V8 model. It is in pretty rough shape, but it's not completely gone. It's definitely worth saving. So let's check this dude out. Personally, I don't think I've ever seen one of these in person. You know what I mean. The grill has been chopped down and laid back, completely closed off. The hood lays down in there. It's got some grills, some kind of pretty cool looking, I don't know, maybe like an Eleanor style hood scoop. Don't know that those were factory for the McLaren, or if somebody else put those on. The big thing is these big, huge, wide fenders. And that is all fiberglass. I'm really sure why they didn't fade that in, or maybe there's a piece that goes there. I'm not sure. I mean, these things, they stick out there. Follows all the way down into the door. You can see the piece that comes all the way back here and molds into the rocker. Roof's got some surface rust on it. It does have a little hole there, and then the big quarter panel on it. Got a little vent down here. Not real sure what that is, unless it's just cosmetic. I don't think they came with a wing on them. So this hatch is solid. This dude hasn't been on the road or registered from at least 1994. So she's been sitting for 30 years. The whole time I've had this car sitting there, I just now noticed the white in the sail panel. Side here don't look too bad. Some spiral cracking there in the fenders. Typical damage, somebody not knowing how to drive something. Lowered car, front end sticks way out. Don't know that these are the wheels that came with the car. I'm sure it would have been something a little more flashy, but this is an 82 model. Look inside here. Black interior. The headliner cloth is missing. Dash pad's cracked, which isn't out of the ordinary. Being from where the car was sitting, that's a given. Door panels look in pretty decent shape. They got had some water damage there and starting to fold up. Seats tore, but everything is complete. It's a non-tilt steering car. Little baby steering wheel. 20th anniversary edition badge, which I don't think is right because that says 84 and this is an 82. So somebody trying to pull one over on us. And I don't know that they put that on there from the factory or not. Got a radio delete. We got a little button here. I'm not real sure what that's for. Maybe line lock or a little nitrous oxide. And this should be, yeah, this is a 4-speed car. That's what it is. Over and up. Sun visors are missing. Our little map light's missing. And we got a fan shroud, a carburetor, and an intake laying in the floor. And we got a distributor back there. I'm willing to bet the engine does not have a intake on it. Let's check it out. Well, actually fairly clean. Engine doesn't really look that bad. Got some long tube headers on it. Big Excel super coil. Oh, I think I found what that button's for. It's got a line lock on it. Somebody was doing some kind of racing with it. Got a little rust in the hinges, which is kind of typical with these cars. Frame rails don't look bad. Anything in the radiator? Yes, there's actually something moving around in there. Good deal. Should mean that we don't have any freeze plugs out of it. It's still got the smog pump on it. Strut tower's got a little bit in it. Very, very cool car. We just need to get it up and running so that he can get it to the car show. He is a paint and body guy, so he will probably be painting this and putting it back to its former glory. I hope so. We hadn't gone that far into it yet. It's over here so that we can get the intake back on it, get the carburetor back on it, get this thing fired up and running, and at least get it to where it will drive up on a trailer and drive off so that they can get it to the car show. We're gonna get this dude in the shop. We are gonna lubricate the cylinders. We're gonna get this thing to roll over. If it does, get a starter hooked up to it, get battery on it, spin it over, then we'll go ahead and get the intake back on it, see if we can't get this dude running. All right, we got the Mustang inside. Get it up. I went ahead and got it up on the lift because my shop is like packed full of junk. Had to use four-wheeler to get the Mustang in here. I needed a way to get it out. So I went ahead and put it up on the lift, raised it out so I can get the four-wheeler out. And she's got a little bit more cancer in her down here. And I think from the pictures, she's pretty much sitting on the ground. These are long tubes with our custom 2-inch exhaust. It has plenty of clearance there on the cross member. Glass packs. Those glass packs are maybe a turbo tube. We'll find out pretty quick when we get this dude fired up. Big bad 7.5-inch rear end. Boy, look at them custom tailpipes. Sweet. Dang, that sucker got some brand manure 295/50s on her that aren't worth a dang. Old BFGs. The old slapper boys. Yeah, a little rust in the floor pan there. I mean, some surface rust, but it's not terrible. I'm gonna let it down. We'll go ahead and soak the cylinders, get me a vacuum anything that's in that lifter valley out. We'll go ahead and prime the engine with an oil pump primer before I even try to put a distributor in it. Had some moisture in it. Well, I've seen worse. Yeah, let's see. Get out of the way. Well, the belt don't want to roll. Wow. She locked up. Motor actually spins over really nice and easy. That's good. And now somebody may have already done this too, but I'll do it myself for my own peace of mind. Okay, that's a lot better. I'm gonna mark 0. And then on these cars, I like to run, depending on what is done to the car, between 12 and 14 degrees timing. That is not the right stroke. That's our exhaust stroke. So, come back around. Zero, Both of our valves are shut. After finally finding the right socket, because I thought it was hooked up to a 5/16 and it's not, it's a quarter. Might help if I go the right way. There we go. Pull it out anywhere. Yeah. There we go. Good deal. Oil up at the top. She's got oil pressure and we have oil flow. They should be as far from a dry start as possible. Get this head surface cleaned up, get the intake out, get it cleaned up, start assembling it. I don't know about y'all, but this is like my favorite way to do silicone. I usually just go over it with a ratchet, snug them all down, and call it good. So the 87 and 93 cars, the gap on those were 54. I don't remember what these older ones were. These plugs are gapped at 40, so we're just going to leave them there. Now, we'll raise it up. I'm going to undo the fuel line because I do have a new fuel tank for it, and I don't want to run whatever foreign material is in the fuel system now through it. You know, one of the key elements of cranking an engine is its starter works. Not seeing anything smoking. Anything smoking inside? Nothing in here. Oh, the door buzzer works. Oh. All right, we're in neutral. Okay, we got fastened seat belt. We got a low fuel light. Those things there are pretty cool. Let's see if it'll do anything. Cool, spins over. All right, let's see what she says. Doing some popping and spitting. maybe not enough timing. We'll give her a whole bunch. Okay, she's not liking it. And I guess we'll do the whole compression. There ain't no telling if the balancer's spun. Let me pull the plug out of it and make sure we're on. Now, you know what? So the last thing I worked on was a Chevrolet. I'm over here looking at these valves. Wasn't even looking at these. Idiot. So it's 180 out. Let's do that again, which is probably going to be way off. And I need to pull the plug and do it right. Be back in 2 and 2. Come on, baby. Still backfiring through the carburetor like it's 180 out. Did blow one of my vacuum caps off. What is the deal? It's trying. It wants to. She wants it. Now I do want to clarify, I am not a mechanic. I can make something run, but I will never claim to be a mechanic. Is the carburetor going to fix the issue? Probably not, because of the way that it's backfiring. It should be ignition and an ignition issue. However, I don't know anything about that carburetor, and I do know this one is good, so I wanted to go ahead and put a known good carburetor on it before I went any further. Last night a buddy of mine stopped over. He was listening to it thinking maybe that it jumped time. So while he was here, we went ahead, and if you remember, I had set it off of number 5 cylinder like a big dummy. So I went ahead and pulled valve cover off. We ran it down top dead center. Both valves were closed. Timing chain is good. It does have some slack in it, but not terrible. I don't like these coils, so I went ahead and got a factory coil hooked into it, and we're going to try that. All right. It's got to be timing. It wants to. Come on. It's like it doesn't have enough timing. So that's way too much. Back it up. like it had any stuck valves. They were all opening like they should. I don't think it's gonna do it. Well, I got with the customer, gave him the great news. You know, the news that everybody wants to hear, that this stuff won't run. And he said that he had a parts car at the house. He had actually bought it for the seats. The car was originally parked because of a transmission issue, and then a tree fell on it. The car's not that bad. I feel like it could be fixed. Cowl panel's a little bent in this fender. Other than that, it doesn't look too bad. All in all, not terrible. So I'm gonna throw a ratchet on this thing, see if it will roll over. This thing has a points distributor in it. Wow. It's got a wine intake on it. Let's see what the oil looks like. Well, it's got way too much in it. Get in there. Okay. Look at the weld job. So apparently this car's led a bit of a rough life. Oh yeah. No problem. I had to cut the fuel line, got rid of it, got her carburetor bolted on. Let's see if she'll do anything. Spins over good. I think we're gonna have a runner. Sweet. Okay, we got one out, dirt daubers, and one in the shop, ready to be tore apart. And given, oh, there's our engine over here. Got our clutch and everything off of it. Clutch doesn't look terrible. Like I say, right now we're just trying to get this thing to the car show and then go from there as far as getting really good parts put on this dude and figure out whatever Billy's gonna do with this car. Got the motor yank transmission off. Got our flywheel, clutch kit, everything put back on here. Engine is in, sticks are in place. Got a fresh double hump cross member, 2.5 inch off-road H-pipe with some blowed up factory muffler. Got a brand new fuel tank courtesy of late model restorations with fuel pickup. I blew through the line this way, back feed a couple of times, blew through it both ways, made sure that the fuel line was clear before I hooked it up to the pump. I do have a power steering leak, and it's coming out of the O-ring up there, so we'll address that here shortly. My main concern is, let's see if this thing will crank. She's all looking back close to factory now, except for that goofy thing. We're full of oil. We got antifreeze in her. Let's see if it'll crank. Did we guess everything right? Got fuel fraying. Got a fuel line down there spraying some fuel. I'm gonna raise it up, fix this fuel line leak, and go ahead and try to address this power steering pump leak. Let's see if the starter works real quick. Or, I'm sorry, not the starter, the ignition. Fire in the hole. We got our leak stopped. Nice and dry under there. Let's see if the clutch will work. We got a clutch. Now for the real test. We got somewhat of a brake pedal. let's check the brake fluid, see if there's anything in the mash cylinder. Not enough. Now let's see if we can get some kind of a pedal out of it. If we can, then we'll take this thing on a short test drive. Got the good old booster leak. There's something there, just not real sure what. So I'm gonna bolt the left front tire back on it. Will you shut up? That's gonna be annoying. The moment of lies. Let's see if this thing will move.
When I found it, I was on Facebook, just chilling, reading through Mustang ads, whatever, and there was a guy asking about getting a title for a car, for a Mustang.
Yeah.
So I was like, what do you got? And he sent me a picture of it, and I was like, instantly I knew it was the Mclaren kit. I didn't know if it was a real Mclaren, but I could tell by the way that it was setting with all the pine needles and stuff that had been there a long time.
Okay, so you've known about the McLarens before.
I've known about it.
Okay.
I've known about it. I knew that, but I also knew, you know, from the Mustang world, there was only a handful of the true 4-cylinder turbos.
Okay.
So the first question that I had to the guy was, is this a V8 car or a 4-cylinder? He goes, no, it's got a V8. So my heart sank a little.
Right.
But I still was just so intrigued by it because of what it was and the wide body. I knew that whoever did it, they put some time into it.
Okay.
Once I found that out, I got a couple pictures and I texted Shannon. And Shannon is the owner at LMR,
Okay.
Late Model Restoration.
Late Model Restoration, okay.
Yes. Text him, and instantly he was like, holy cow, what have you found? Dennis Collins found one and restored it.
Okay.
And then it went to auction, and they tried to talk Shannon into buying it some way, some story or another. So he was way more in the know of how many there were and all that. I had no idea. I just knew that they were super rare, and I knew there was less than 10. I didn't know the exact number, none of that. So anyway, once I sent it to him, he started asking me the same questions that I had asked about the motor and this and that. And he was like, man, I don't know what you found, but you need to go find it. You need to go put your hands on it, see what it is. So I had another buddy, I messaged him, and he was like, man, surely it's, you know, somebody made it at a body shop, something.
Sure.
So I start doing research. I bypassed all that and I just started Googling McLaren M81s because that's what the brand, what it was whenever they found them.
That's what their designation was?
Okay. Is the M81 McLaren.
Okay.
So I Googled that and I started finding different color photos of McLaren cars from the 80s. You know, I found a black one, a white one, and a rare one. I even found one that had a crazy wing package, spoiler package, and it was all done back in between 79 and 81. That's when these cars were built.
Okay.
All of a sudden, I found a car that had been updated, and I immediately saw it was on Instagram. So I went to Instagram, hashtag McLaren, and boom, I found, and his name is Derek Whitaker. Okay. And we can tag him if you want to, because he is the one that has really caught up all the DSOs, the inventory, and how many he thinks were built, how many he's heard were built, and he has done way more of the endeavors of checking the basis of it all.
So he's done a ton of research,
and he's the one that has come up with that there was less than 10 of even the DSO cars. So that's what this is. The DSO is a dealer special option.
Okay.
So they could buy the dealer special option. They could buy the kit from McLaren, and supposedly they only sold 10 of them, and then the dealer could have it put on and then sold as a brand new car. So this car was sold brand new with this kit. This isn't something that somebody put together after a wreck back in the 90s.
This is a dealer installed McLaren kit.
And this car has been just like this since 1982. So that was the one thing that messed me up too, was it being an 82. I was like, how in the world is this an 82 when they were 79 through 81? Well, the deal was you could buy those kits, and we think this car was one of those older kits that had probably sat around a little bit and somebody bought it. But they put it on it, and this car was sold new in either McKinney or Greenville, one of the two Texas.
Okay.
And so it's been in East Texas area all of its life, as far as I've known, but it's been in Henderson, Texas, where I found it since 1995. The original true 79 McLarens with the 4-cylinder turbos, there's 2 or 3 left, or there's only 2 or 3 built, but they've gone across the auction block and they've brought 75 to 80,000 range. To me, this car is going to be worth half that. I would rather have it built my way and have it worth, if it's going to be worth 30 or 40, I'd rather it be the way I want it. And because I don't plan on selling. I didn't buy this because I bought it because I love Fox bodies. I've had dozens of them, 93 Cobras, I've had them all, but this is the only one I've ever seen of this car. Only one I didn't even know they existed until I found it. And all of that is just what really makes me love it.
Well, it's a really cool car, and I can't thank you enough for hollering at me and let me be a part of getting it back to getting at least back to where it'll drive around on its own.
Just when you sent me the video that you had it cranked, and I was just, man, my wife's like, what is wrong with you? You couldn't wipe it off my face, man. I was just pumped.
It's like one of your kids.
It really was, man, because you can only push them around so much, but when you can get in them and feel them and make them move, that is just you're like, okay, I'm getting there. Something's happening. I'm hoping maybe this video, maybe going to the LMR show, maybe start making some of these Mustang shows is going to trip somebody's memory that maybe bought the car, saw the car, knew of the car. Because I don't. The pinstripe here.
Right.
You can tell.
Is that factory?
Is that factory? That looks 90s to me.
Right. Yes. Especially with the turquoise color in it. Yes, that does.
I think early 90s. Right. I don't think 82.
Okay.
So some of those things I would like to know, but really just love to know where it came from. And I run a Marty report on it. The Marty report came back where it was bought, told me all the details, but it did not have anything about McLaren, which would make sense because it's a dealer special option.
Right.
The dealership that sold it is no longer in business, so I can't call them and try to pick an old man's brain in there. They're not going to keep up with an 82 Mustang that they sold.
Right. Yeah.
In 1982.
It's just an 82
gone.
Mustang. Right.
So all that history's gone. So maybe I can find somebody that has some kind of history for it, and if not, that's the least of my worries. I would just like to know, just for the coolness factor. But
sure.
I just love the car, and my wife thinks it's the ugliest thing she's ever seen. And she just,
it's ugly now.
It is.
But with the paint job. So when you go back, are you going back with black and white, or you?
Black. I don't know about the white, but it will definitely go back black. Black's my favorite color, and I don't want to change that. I don't want to change the factory color or the interior. I may even leave the factory seats. I think dash pad, put all that back stock. My dream of the car, built rear end, built suspension, got to be lowered, and then a built small block, healthy motor, naturally aspirated. You know, I don't think I want a blower or anything like that. I just want a big lopey cam, and you know.
Well, I do like a 306, or even go up to a 347, and
yeah,
good sounding exhaust on it.
Now I will probably change out the 4-speed. I probably
go
will
to
do
a 5-speed,
or even a 6. You know, I don't know. You know, maybe do a 256 or something. But that's not that bad of an integrity thing either.
Yeah, I appreciate you hollering at me, let me be a part of it. So what is your social media handles? We have
Instagram is it's Billy Larice at Atlas Speed.
Okay.
They could probably Atlas Speed and I'll pop up.
And I'll put a link in the description down with all his handles.
Yeah. And then Facebook, Billy Phillips. But anybody out there that sees this that can help me or wants to talk or pick my brain, what I know, I'm in. I love talking about this. So message me, shoot me a PM, and we'll link up. But I would love to hear, even if you just say, hey, I saw that in the 90s and it was in this town. Love to hear
any old pictures of it,
anything, however, not dumb it down, however you want to. I want to hear about it.
Yeah.
If you think you saw it, I'm interested.
And noticing that it had a line lock on it, you know, it had headers on it and everything, leads me to believe that the car was probably drag raced at one time.
Yep.
Or it was a burnout car, which I don't think back then burnouts were a big thing like they are now. So leads me to believe it would be a drag car, and you know, that maybe there's a video floating around that going down the track or something. That'd be awesome to see.
Man, no doubt.
See the car in its former glory when it was still shiny and that kind of thing. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely look forward to anything that maybe you can help dig up and help me find. But I really appreciate you doing this and putting it in. I don't think I could have found anybody that was more Fox body, you know, and you know, mine and your history of back in the late 90s and racing and street racing, and you having your lime green Fox body coupe and me having my cars, and it's really cool to kind of, you know, still be friends all these years, but also to see you get to work on it and have that connection back.
I really wish I could make the show, but you know, unfortunately, a daughter getting married kind of takes precedence. Yeah, so
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So man, I'm happy to be a part of it, and can't wait to see it finished.
Yeah, thank you, Sean.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.